This is the Gerry Callahan Show.
Well, it is Tuesday, November 11th, 11/11. Happy Veterans Day, and thank you to all our veterans out there. It's been 90 years, 80 years since we won World War II. Our greatest generation saved the free world, stopped Nazism, totalitarian Japan. And now we sit here and look back and we wonder, what do they think? What do veterans think? What do veterans of World War II, or any veteran for that matter, think when they see what's happened to their country? I can't help but wonder this. I think this every time I see, we saw an open border for 4 years under Joe Biden. We see the UK, France, all of Western Europe just surrender to this invasion from Africa and Asia. And you wonder what they think when they look at that what they fought for, what their friends died for. It must be tough. I have to say, it's tough for all of us to look and see what has been done to our countries. We saw a president for 4 years, a party for 4 years, deliberately eliminate our borders and allowed 15 to 20 million illegals into our country and then give them everything. We see it in the UK today. We see the UK, we see London, we see almost every major city in England being run by Muslims. They have Muslim mayors in all their big cities, including England. And now we have one in America, in New York City. What do veterans who fought for this country, who were injured, who lost limbs, who lost eyes, what do they think when they see their fellow Americans elect a communist, elect a Muslim Marxist in New York City? Do they feel like it was worth it? Do they wonder what they sacrificed for? I know this is dark. This is sad, but it's reality today when we look at our country, what's happened to our country, what's happened in our biggest city, what's happened across the country, where we see illegal aliens given everything, given their hotels and their phones and their translators, given money, just given money. And we say, when will we treat veterans as well as we treat illegal aliens? We let people in the country by the millions, many of whom are sitting in elected office, who don't love the country, who can't even imagine sacrificing for this country. I saw a statistic one day, a number out of England. There have been more Islamic immigrants who've joined ISIS than joined the British military. Again, more Muslim immigrants have joined terror organizations than have joined the military. They have no love for the country. They have no pride. They can't even imagine fighting for the country, dying for the country, doing what millions did 80 years ago, died to fight for freedom, fight for the free world, to fight against tyranny. And today, we import people who support our enemies. We bring people into the country who don't love the country, who wave the Somali flag, not the American flag. In England right now, there's a big movement to cut down and remove British flags and wave Palestinian flags. That's happening all over the UK. And to celebrate their Veterans Day, Remembrance Day, a show, British, what's it called? Good Morning Britain, had a World War II veteran on, Alec Penstone. He was in the Royal Navy. He was at Normandy. He fought for this country, and many of his friends died for their country, for the free world. Hell, most of them. He must feel so alone right now. Here he is showing up on this show in full uniform, this hero, this amazing guy. He still has his wits about him. He's still lucid enough to see what's happened to his country and wonder and lament the downfall, the surrender of the UK to these dark forces that essentially he fought 80 years ago. Well, that country's changed. That country has lost its way. Yes, The UK, once the greatest superpower, has been invaded, and it's just not the same place. This is the saddest thing you'll see today. Alec Penstone, a British hero, World War II hero, saying he wonders, was it all worth it? Check this out.
What does Remembrance Sunday mean for you? What is your message?
My message is, I can see in my mind's eye those rows and rows of white stones of all the hundreds of my friends and everybody else that gave their lives for what? The country of today. No, I'm sorry. The sacrifice wasn't worth the result that it is now.
Oh, well, I'm sorry.
What do you mean by that, though? At this point?
What we fought for, and what we fought for was our freedom. We find that even now is darn sight worse than what it was when I fought for it.
Oh, Alec, I'm sorry you feel like that, because I want you to know that all the generations that have come since, including me and my children, are so grateful for your bravery and all that for service personnel. And it's our job now, isn't it, to make it the country that you fought for. You absolutely fought for.
Is it.
And we will do. We want to...
I'm so wonderful to know there are people like you that can spread the word around.
We will do.
Younger generation.
And I guarantee that everybody watching at home will be wanting you to send sots of love. We've got another little bit special thing for you, Alec.
Oh, God, listen to her.
Come on over.
Listen to her treating him like a child. Oh, we're so it's sorry you feel that way. Why does he feel that way? She's so full of it, by the way. You know that woman doesn't give a damn what is happening to her country. The guy, her name is Kate Garraway. His name is A.D. Ray. The guy on the panel with him right there is a big proponent of Muslim immigration and defended Sharia law. And he's sitting there patronizing this mensch, this hero. God bless this man. God bless every single one of them. I think other than beyond honoring them today, beyond saying we salute you, we appreciate your service, your sacrifice, we should be apologizing, not just to veterans in England and the UK, but in this country. We should apologize for letting what has happened to this country happen. Can you imagine being 100 years old? Alec Penstone is 100 years old and looking back and saying, could you imagine this happening to our country? Our leaders, our elected leaders, hell, in this country, an entire Democrat Party devoted to the invasion over our southern border. Hell, not just that, flying them in from Haiti, from Africa, and just dumping them in this country for the express purpose of changing the demographic, of changing the country you fought for. That is what's happening. That is what's happened for years, and it's continuing to happen. It just happened the other day. We elected a communist, a Marxist Muslim mayor of New York City. How many young men left New York City, hell, signed up, lied about their age, and went and fought these dark forces, these evil forces, to save the country, only to see it devolve, only to see it deteriorate to the point where veterans get less than illegal aliens, criminals, and hundreds, thousands of people are now fighting to keep illegal alien criminals in their country. Elected leaders, an entire party. You can't find an elected Democrat who says, you know what, maybe we should get the illegal alien criminals out of our neighborhoods. Maybe that's not such a bad idea. Maybe we should secure our southern border. That's the party of FDR and Harry Truman. And now they don't give a damn about him. They don't give a damn about any of the people who fought and died for this country. They want to change it because that will give them more power. They want to change the electorate, change the demographic, bring in people who contribute nothing, and worse, don't even like the country, don't love it, don't appreciate it, don't have any interest, any desire to assimilate, to learn, to love our culture, our country. That's what's happened. Again, we appreciate your sacrifice. We appreciate everything you did. And God damn it, we are sorry. We are sorry for what we allowed to happen to this country. It is sickening. And I feel bad. I feel so bad. My heart breaks for that man. And he's not alone. I know most of his peers are gone, but they're still out there. Hell, they don't have to be World War II veterans, Korea, Vietnam. Hell, people who fought in peacetime or served in peacetime. I feel bad for all of them. They have to look around and they have to see, hell, people who fought in Iraq and Afghanistan, people who lost limbs or lost friends. They have to look and see a man, a Muslim from Uganda. He's now running our biggest city. He doesn't love the country. He wants to change the country. He said it. And then they elected him. He said, we want to change the state into our image. He wants to change New York City in the image of his culture. And people voted for that. Millions of people voted for that. They forgot. We forgot. We're going to pretend to honor him today and honor all the vets. You know how we could honor them? By saving the country they fought and died for. But somehow, some way, we have lost our way. And it's sickening, to be honest with you. I hate to be so dour and down on Veterans Day, but it really is sad what we've allowed to happen to the world that man saved, that man sacrificed for. And he has to look around and see people like him, people who, native Brits being arrested for social media posts, while immigrants from the third world come in and run wild, get everything for free, commit crimes, rip down their flag and wave a foreign flag. He has to see that in his dying days. He doesn't have much time left. It's not going to change. He has to see the country he fought for just deteriorate into this chaotic mess of multiculturalism. We apologize to you, Alec Penstone, and to all Veterans Day. We honor you, and we apologize to you. Well, you know what? It's not going to get better. I'm just going to say it on this Tuesday, November 11th. This is a bad day. Feels like a bad day. I mean, I know the shutdown ended, or it's ending. It's going to end. I know there's a few more days of pain for travelers. 2,400 flights canceled today, more than 9,000 delays, all because one party thought it was worth it. They had leverage. They wanted to inflict pain on you and deprive the military of their pay and air traffic controllers of their pay, all because they had leverage and they thought they could fight, hold out, just shut down the government until Trump and the Republicans agreed to spend $1.5 trillion for illegal aliens. That's what's happening today. All those flights delayed and canceled, that's because Democrats wanted to give your money to illegal aliens. And it's going to continue for a few more days. But that's not all. I'm looking at my list today, Ironhead, and I'm saying, what happened? What happened? God knows the first 10 months of Trump 2.0 has been, on balance, a very successful 10 months. I think he's done many, many wonderful things, and we've talked about most of them on this show. And I can't even imagine this country today if Trump had lost a year ago. I can't even imagine how bad the border would be, how bad our inner cities would be, how bad crime would be. There'd be wars raging everywhere. The economy would be in the toilet. It would be a disaster. It is we will forever be grateful, thankful that Trump won and saved this country. But you can't love it all. I don't love it all. Yesterday, I wasn't happy. Yesterday, we saw bad Trump. He did an interview last night. I mean, I got a few things to get to, I have to say. We got to get to this 50-year mortgage. Oh, by the way, they're also rolling out a 15-year car loan. Wow. What could go wrong with that? We'll get to that. We'll get to this stupid stimmy check idea. But I want to start my critique of Trump's day yesterday with his, he did an interview on Fox News, and he defended increasing the number of Chinese students coming into this country. It was 240,000 or something. That's going to go to 600,000. We're going to have 600,000 Chinese students. And I remind you, I've talked about this before, they are obligated to spy for the CCP. That's part of the deal. By law, they are obligated to report back to the CCP. We've seen many cases of Chinese students being busted, Chinese professors, researchers being busted for spying. It's in the response from the Trump administration is, here's an idea. Let's more than double the number of Chinese students studying in this country. By the way, every one of them takes the place of an American student. 55% of Columbia's student body are foreigners. The majority of their faculty are foreigners. That's the elite university in New York City. But Trump was asked about this by Laura Ingraham, and this could be, there's been some bad answers from Trump in interviews. He's not always the smoothest at this, but this could be the worst. He says we have to bring in 600,000 Chinese spies into our universities, because if we don't, some colleges will go out of business. I think Laura Ingraham does a good job here, but the follow-up to me would have been, actually, she does say, so what? What's the problem with that? A university, an indoctrination factory in this country that does nothing but poison young minds, turn them into radical leftists, turn them against their own country. Those places might go out of business without Chinese money. What is the problem with that, Mr. President? Listen to this.
Folks are not thrilled about this idea of hundreds of thousands of foreign students in the United States. We have about 350,000 Chinese. One point during COVID, you were going to, push to, get them out, but that was pulled back. You've said as many as 600,000 Chinese students could come to the United States. Why, sir, is that a pro-MAGA position when so many American kids want to go to school and there are places not for them, and these universities are getting rich off Chinese money?
Sure. Never said about China, but we do have a lot of people coming in from China. We always have China and other countries. We also have a massive system of colleges and universities. And if we were to cut that in half, which perhaps makes some people happy, you would have half the colleges in the United States go out of business.
So what?
Well, I think that's a big deal.
Are they fans?
You would have the
historically, the United States?
Yeah, but you would have, as you know, historically, black colleges and universities would all be out of business. You would have a system of colleges and universities.
So we're dependent on China to keep our university system going?
But I think it's good to have, I actually think it's good to have outside countries. Look, I want to be able to get along with the world.
They're not the French. They're the Chinese. They spy on us. They steal our intellectual property.
Do you think the French are better?
Yeah.
I mean, really? I don't know. I'll tell you, I'm not so sure. We've had a lot of problems with the French, where we get taxed very unfairly on our technology, where, they put 25% taxes on American products. Look, assuming everyone treats us badly, because that's the way I am, but we take in trillions of dollars from students. The students pay more than double when they come in from most foreign countries. I want to see our school system thrive. But at the same time, I know you and I disagree. We're never going to agree on it, but that's okay. And it's not that I want them, but I view it as a business. We have millions and millions of people. Also, I want to get along with countries if possible. People are shocked.
There it is right there. There it is right there. He wants to get along with China. Fine. This is Trump. I'm not blaming him for being what he is. He's a businessman, a deal maker. He's a transactional president. He's not an ideologue. Great job there by Laura Ingraham. You'd never hear that from Sean Hannity. So what? So what if colleges go out of business because they don't have the support of the CCP or from any other, from Saudi Arabia or Jordan or wherever else they're coming from? So what? American kids aren't getting into the elite universities because Chinese students are taking their place. And he says, we have to do it because we want to get along with China. And he says, the French You think that'd be better? I'm sorry. I got my problems with the French too, but did the French send COVID into this country, into the world, and kill 1 million Americans, destroy our economy? Did the French send the precursors for fentanyl to Mexico and across our border to kill hundreds of thousands of Americans? Are the French trying to take over Central America and South America with their roads and bridges program? I mean, the threat of the French compared to China, that's not on the same level. And the French aren't legally obligated to spy on us when their students come to school in the US. That is insane. And again, it's the way he thinks. And usually I'm all on board. But he's not thinking of the threat. He's thinking of the deal. We need to make a deal. And he immediately pivots to tariffs. And we're going to bring in all this tariff money. Great. We love tariff money. That's wonderful. But the Chinese are bad actors. The Chinese aren't sending their kids here. And by the way, even the ones who don't spy come here, get a good education, a STEM education, learn engineering and chemistry and pre-med, and then go back to China. Is that good? We literally have like 200 or 300 American students studying in China, and we're going to have 600,000 Chinese students studying in the U.S. God, that was not a good answer. That is not a good position. It was not a good day in the White House. That's just one thing right there. I got a whole list. You want to get to the Syrian president who was in the White House, in the Oval Office, shaking hands with the president? He was in Al-Qaeda, a leader of Al-Qaeda. He killed Americans. He spent 5 years in Abu Ghraib. He's a terrorist. Trump wants to get along with everyone, including terrorists. And I know they made him come in the back door. But he's the first Syrian leader in like 50 years to come into the White House. How come you can't get along with him, make a deal with him without allowing him to desecrate the White House? He's a friggin' Islamic terrorist. I know that's the state of Syria, where they now have a terrorist leader as their president. But you don't have to honor him with a White House visit. This was disgusting. I can't imagine being someone who lost a loved one in the war in Iraq, watching this guy, the enemy, this evil monster, just having a visit, sitting down at lunch, having a nice cup of coffee with the president. What? Why? Why can't you just say, yeah, we're going to do our best to get along, but we're not bringing him here, putting him on a pedestal and saying, yeah, he's no different than having, Viktor Orban or having the whatever Canadian prime minister. Yeah, it's different. He's a terrorist. You don't just say, you know what? I'm not really Al-Qaeda anymore. I'm a world leader now. Can I just come to the White House? Sure. You want to get a commemorative coffee cup and maybe some napkins, and we'll bring them home as souvenirs? What the hell are we doing? That's number 2 on my list. We got much more to get to. And you know what? I honestly feel reluctant to do this because, on balance, looking at the whole picture, Trump point 2.0, Trump's team, Bessent and Rubio and Vance are doing a great job. But we don't have to have an Al-Qaeda terrorist in the White House. We don't have to have Chinese students in this country, and we don't have to have $2,000 stimmy checks. This is not what Republicans need. This is not what America needs right now. We've seen through the shutdown just the vast number of leeches and takers who are taking advantage of the system. And Trump's bringing in money, billions with tariffs, and he wants to make it clear that we're really benefiting. The country's really getting a lot of revenue with his tariffs. He wants to do that before the Supreme Court strikes them down. And he wants to show people that this is working. Great. Tell us how much is coming in. 300 billion, 400 billion. Tell us you're going to pay down the debt. That's a great idea. You're going to pay down the debt, whatever. You're going to pay the military. You're going to pay, air traffic controllers with that money. Give them the bonuses, which is a good idea. Don't tell people, poor people, middle-class people, we're going to give you $2,000 so you can just have a great time this Christmas season. We don't need that. That's for dummies. That's what Democrats do. That's what Biden did when he gave people $1,400 during COVID and then turned around and gave every scammer and fraudster in the world trillions. We'll get to that. I hate this idea. 2,000. We're going to send you 2,000. If you're lower class or middle class, we're going to make sure we don't give it to any of the rich people. But all you dummies who out there just with your palms out, this is the solution. Give you some pocket money for the holiday season. This is just so stupid. Is this Trump on the stimmy checks?
We're going to issue a dividend to our middle income people and lower income people of about $2,000. And we're going to use the remaining tariffs to lower our debt. We're going to be lowering our debt, which is a national security thing. So we're doing a lot of good work. And the numbers were reported so incorrectly. The real numbers are trillions of dollars have been taken in or gotten in terms of investment from the tariffs. And so if that were ever reversed, it would be a disaster. Frankly, it would be a national security problem for our country. And nobody thinks it's going to be reversed. I think we had a very good court case. As you know, it's before the Supreme Court right now. But if that were ever reversed, people are saying, oh, it's $1 billion. Some people said, oh, it's $2 billion. Well, that obviously we can handle very easily. But this is trillions of dollars we're talking about in terms of the tariff income and all the investment income that's come into our country.
Good. Take the tariff income and pay that with $38 trillion in debt. And you think it's a good idea to send out stimmy checks? I know we're dealing with a really low IQ electorate. We saw that a week ago. We saw it in New York, where 84% of young women voted for the Muslim Marxist, where 85% of LGBTQ voters voted the Muslim Marxist, who was not that long ago appearing with a woman in Uganda who was responsible for the penalties for being gay, who pushed and passed a law that put gay people in prison for life, which is pretty, that's mild. Normally in a lot of those countries, it's death for gay people. And gay people showed up in droves to vote for the Muslim Marxists. So we're not dealing with really smart people. I understand this is a way to throw some goodies at the low IQ idiots out there and say, oh, good, I like this tariff program. He's going to send me a check. That's just not how we do it. I hate that idea. I hate all these ideas. One more, a 50-year mortgage. That's what the Trump administration is rolling out to solve our housing crisis. All right. This is so stupid on so many levels. Give me that graphic. Here's a graphic to show you what happens if you go from a 30-year to a 50-year mortgage. I don't know any smart person out there who heard this and said, what a great idea. So the average first-time home buyer is like 40 years old now. That's a crisis. It is unaffordable. We do have an affordability crisis, and we know why we have an affordability crisis. It's not because a 30-year mortgage isn't, enough of a commitment that the monthly payment is too big. It's not that big a difference. A 30-year mortgage for a $500,000 home, the mortgage payment is $2,684. For a 50-year mortgage, $2,271. So $400 a month. You save. If you take a 50-year mortgage, total payments for the 30-year mortgage, $966,000. That's $466,000 in interest. For a 50-year mortgage, $1.362 million, $862,000 in interest for a $500,000 home. And what do you think is going to happen? You're going to keep that home for 50 years when you're 40? This seems so counterproductive to say what we'll do to solve the housing crisis is commit you to the bank. The bank's going to love this. For 50 years, the bank will own your home for 50 years. Does anyone feel hopeful that this is a step in solving the housing crisis? I got a better idea. Obviously, we need more homes, more available homes, affordable homes. Here's what Trump should say. We have a housing crisis. We are doing our best to solve it every day. How? By removing illegal aliens. That's the biggest problem. We have 15, 20, 25 million illegal aliens. They need homes. They have homes. You're paying for them. Once we get 20, 25 million illegal aliens out of the country, then we'll talk. There's other ways you could do it. Deregulate. If you got rid of the illegal aliens and the green scam regulations, that would be 2 huge steps toward solving or improving the affordability situation. It's not 50-year loans. And by the way, 15-year car loans. Anyone think that's a good idea? Just to what? Save a couple $100? You're not going to have your car for 15 years. It just feels like feels like something Biden or Kamala Harris would come up. Just short-sighted, stupid. Let's just chain everybody to the bank for 50 years and everyone will feel better. But not a good day. Sorry. I'm sorry. Not a good day. We got much more to get to on this Veterans Day. That's the hard truth. I'm sorry. This was not a great day for the Trump administration. They got problems. They got issues, almost all of them caused by Joe Biden, which is another problem. What you're dealing with now economically with the housing crisis was all caused by Biden-Harris. They imported 15 to 20 million people. They spent $10 trillion. They drove up inflation. They pushed these stupid green regulations. Every problem is something caused by them, which is why it was insane last week that people went to the polls in Virginia and New Jersey and voted for the Congress people who supported every foolish thing Biden-Harris did to drive up prices. Those women aren't going to solve the affordability crisis. They caused it, and yet voters voted for them because their concern was affordability. So it is a backwards, upside down time. Do I have time to get to this? Well, wait. We got a guy explaining what happened during COVID, during, the last stimmy check era, the last time we just threw money at every problem, and what's going to happen if we do it again. We'll get to that. And we have Jimmy Kimmel. We've often wondered what happened to him, why he's no longer funny, why he's so miserable, why he just hates the president so much. I think we have an answer. Yes, we will introduce you, if you haven't seen her already, to Molly, Kimmel's wife and head writer, and there'll no longer be any mystery as to what happened to Jimmy Kimmel. We'll get to that and more, but first.
Excuse me.
If there's something all of us can believe in, it's hard work, self-reliance, and showing up for the people who count on us. Kind of like President Trump, just going hard 24/7. The difference is Donald Trump doesn't need sleep. You do. I do. It's the most important thing to good health. I was in a horrible cycle that had no end in sight. I knew I had to find something to break me free of that cycle. That's when I found Beam's Dream Powder. Beam is proudly founded in America and run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and delivering results. It's a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-based ingredients shown to improve sleep so you can wake up refreshed and ready to take on the day. Dream is made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients: reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, and melatonin. Here's the deal. Beam is giving my listeners the ultimate Patriot discount of up to 40% off. Try their best-selling green powder and get up to 40% off for a limited time. So with my discount code Gerry, G-E-R-R-Y, you can get the best-selling dream powder for just $39. Go to shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry at checkout. That's shopbeam.com/Gerry. Use code word Gerry for up to 40% off. Before we get to Jimmy and his wife, Molly, and explain what happened to Jimmy, we're going to get to that. And Portnoy, too. We want to get to the guy who heckled Portnoy. I get some questions about that. But I want to play this because I just saw it months ago, saw it again this morning, and I thought of this when I heard Trump's gonna get all this revenue and send out stimmy checks and gonna kind of, again, treat us like kids on Halloween. Here you go. Here's a Reese's cup. Here's a here's a Twix bar. Like, can we approach this like adults and not say, just to show everyone how good it's going, we're going to throw them a couple of bucks. Here's what happened last time. The government decided we should send out checks because the people are hurting. We got to, and you can apply for loans to help your company and the government will take care of everything. Then we'll forgive those loans. A lot of that money went to rich people, went to wealthy people. But this was not long ago. This was earlier this year, a hearing about the fraud that took place under Joe Biden and Kamala Harris when they spent $10 trillion during COVID, and there were no safeguards, there were no guardrails. They just threw money around, not just to Americans, to foreigners. Your money. This is why we had inflation. This is why we have all the problems that Trump inherited, because they just said, let's just print money and throw it everywhere. This didn't get enough attention. And by the way, this has led, as far as I know, to no arrests. Nobody. All they did was steal $1 trillion. This cannot happen again. This is Congressman Cloud, I believe, from Texas, and Haywood Talcove, the CEO of Nexus Risk Solution, who looked into the COVID fraud. Check it out.
We have an internal threat, but you also mentioned transnational fraud rings, terrorist organizations, nation states, North Korea, nuclear weapons programs funded by our tax dollars, China, Nigeria, Iran, Romania, Russia, not our friends necessarily, that are being funded by taxpayer dollars. Could you give us some examples of how this is happening?
God, yeah. So when you think about what happened during the pandemic, $1 trillion was stolen. 70% of that money went overseas. And I can give you some examples. In a Western state, they had more people applying for unemployment insurance benefits than they had individuals over 18. The people that were stealing the money from Romania were using it to facilitate other fraud schemes that include fentanyl, that include doing things to impact our democracy. On the insider threat, right, the first thing you have to say, and my dad was a public servant, is 99% of people that work in the public sector are honest, hardworking individuals. But there are some, and what you need is data and technology to root that out. There were examples during the pandemic. There were some examples even of last week where people got into the Medicaid system in a Western state and stole $50 million in less than 4 months. So you have to have these controls in place, right? These aren't individuals stealing, Mr. Cloud. These are organized criminal groups, both domestic and transnational.
All right, $1 trillion stolen during COVID. We can't let that happen again. Why are we not watching trials right now? Why? Oh, because they're foreigners. They're in Romania. They're untouchable. We need, that's why you had inflation. That's why you had a housing crisis. That's why Trump has so much work to do to clean up this mess, but we can't let it happen again. All right, let's get to Jimmy, because we've talked a lot about Jimmy Kimmel, who has lost his mind, who used to be, if you weren't around in the old days, he used to be a funny guy. He did the Man Show with Adam Carolla. He had a sense of humor. He has morphed into a more feminine version of Rachel Maddow. He was just an angry leftist, an angry Trump hater, consumed with a seething hatred for our president. And he and his wife, Molly, who's also a producer and writer on the show, which explains everything. She does a podcast with Kimmel, and he's sitting there with her, and he looks so miserable. This man is just trapped with this affluent white female liberal, this miserable woman who has allowed politics to just destroy her soul, and I'm sure destroy her marriage. But this is why he goes out there every night and just rants with no sense of humor at all, just rants and raves about Trump. listen to Molly explain how Trump has affected her.
Thankfully, my immediate family, all they did not vote for Donald Trump.
Okay.
They did the first time, a few of them. We flipped them the second time. I grew up in a very conservative Republican house. I mean, I bought my dad a Rush Limbaugh tie in high school. I voted Republican straight ticket, and that's what I was told to do. And then I left St. Louis, Missouri, and I met people from different backgrounds, and I started to understand different things and different needs and different people. And there's like a little bit of sympathy I have for people in my family that I feel are kind of being deliberately misinformed every day.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
they're deliberately being misinformed every day,
Mm-hmm.
and they believe it. But it hurts me so much because of the personal relationship I now have, where my husband is out there fighting this man. And to me, them voting for Trump is them not voting for my husband and me and our family. And I unfortunately have kind of lost relationships with people in my family because of it.
What a pathetic, what a sad, sorry excuse for a wife. Voting for Trump is voting against a late night talk show host. This woman is deranged. First of all, I'm sure there was no follow-up, but to me, the follow-up would be, okay, let's not talk about, Trump's personality or his delivery or the way he looks or the way he makes you feel as a person. What has he done that upsets you so much? Talk about policy. Oh, close the border. Oh man, that's awful. He closed the border. He's arresting illegal alien criminals. Oh, he cleaned up crime in the nation's capital. He solved wars. What has he done that ruined your relationship with family members? I have family members who don't like Trump. I deal with this all the time. I talk, I debate, I argue sometimes. I would never abandon my family members who don't like Trump. I've been doing this my whole life, arguing. That's what you do. You debate it, you smile, you walk away. I can't imagine ruining your family because of the policies out of DC. And Kimmel's sitting there, if you're just listening, his head's hanging down. He is just miserable. It is amazing what these people allow Trump to do to them, allow him to break them to the point where they have no joy, no love for their own family members. She said she sent them all an email before the election, a 10-point bullet points on why they should vote against Trump, and most of them didn't respond. Good for them. That's the proper response. When you have this miserable, angry woman hectoring you about the election, just ignore her. Go on with your life. As many others have pointed out, Republicans have other things to do. They have other things. It's not their life. It's her life. She's fabulously wealthy, living, in Southern California with a rich, famous husband, kids, and her whole life is hating the president. She's the one we should feel sorry for. She is just a broken shell of a woman. And her job is to write jokes for that man, that miserable man to her right on the street. Write jokes, make people laugh. You think she's got a lot of great ideas, a lot of fun and humor in her.
Yeah, Jimmy, go out there and call Trump a fascist. It'll be hilarious.
That's right. Go out there and blame MAGA for Charlie Kirk's murder. That'll work. God, that is amazing that ABC doesn't see that and say, this is not what we had in mind. We kind of were thinking, I don't know, comedy. We thought you might make some jokes. He is just broken. It is amazing what Trump has done to these people. And they could have, George Bush or Mitt Romney or John McCain, and they wouldn't end up like this. Just she belongs in therapy. She belongs in a mental hospital. And I guess we now know. And then what does she do? Go from there and say, Trump did whatever. Trump, made a speech. Let's just make fun. Let's mock Trump. Let's hate Trump. That's her whole life. And it's sad. And don't be that way. I'll have political discussions, debates with family members and friends on Thanksgiving. And then we'll have a beer and we'll talk about the Patriots. We'll move on. It's what we do. It's what I've always done. I can't imagine it ruining your family. Some guy making policy, making speeches in DC is going to ruin your fabulously comfortable, wealthy family in Southern California. That is pathetic. But not as pathetic as Stephanie Miller. Oh, before we get to Stephanie Miller, who is a radio host, let's do this Portnoy thing. We have time. I want to do this Portnoy thing because I got a question. If you missed it, Dave Portnoy was doing a pizza bite review, one bite review in Starkville, Mississippi the other day when a student from Mississippi State heckled him. He yelled at him. He called him an effing Jew or something. It was, anti-Semitic. It was vile.
He said F the Jews, like that sign in the bar from last year.
All right, F the Jews. And Portnoy's heard that before. It doesn't faze him. He just yelled at the guy and went on with his pizza review. 20-year-old Patrick McClintock was arrested, charged on yesterday, charged with disturbing the peace. Took his mugshot, printed him, fingerprinted him, the whole deal. He's at MSU Junior, majoring in mechanical engineering. Now, we could ask why this piece of garbage, Patrick McClintock, has lost his way, why he hates Jews. It's a good question. Why is this undercurrent of anti-Semitism taking hold even in Mississippi? And I'm sure Portnoy's dealt with this a lot. I saw this and I said, that's disgusting. And, Portnoy can handle it. I didn't know he'd get arrested and I wasn't sure what he'd be charged with. Well, he's charged with disturbing the peace. Okay, he threw some coins on the ground. And I'm saying, good, maybe this guy will learn a lesson. Now let's go to Berkeley, California last night. In Berkeley, California, TPUSA held a rally. Indoors, sold it out, banged it out. It was another great, successful rally by TPUSA. Outside, there were thousands of Antifa scum, the group that Jimmy Kimmel says doesn't exist, protesting. And they were literally yelling, F your homie, your dead homie, at the TPUSA. They were attacking them too. There were fights. They were throwing things, not just pennies. They were throwing things at the TP. And it's free speech. Someone has to explain to me why this is free speech and why saying F the Jews is, and throwing coins, why that's disturbing the peace. How is this not disturbing the peace? How is this not a crime? Get that other video at night where they're firing fireworks, smoke bombs, bottle rockets, whatever, and attacking people who just want to go to a speech, who just want to hear look at this. And the cops are standing there just watching it. You have all these masked losers, Antifa and fellow travelers. This is what we allow in places like Berkeley, California, not in Starkville, Mississippi, but in Berkeley, California, you can do this and it's called free speech. Look at them. They get the keffiyehs on. Every one of them has a mask on. I mean, these are just the dregs. And they do this because they know there's no accountability. There's no price to pay for this. Just attack, harass people who disagree with you politically. Now, Jimmy Kimmel will say they don't exist. His wife will say, yeah, good for them. But that's okay. But saying F the Jews, that's disturbing the peace. When are we going to arrest these people? Trump designated them terrorists. No different than Al-Qaeda. Oh, I'm sorry, Al-Qaeda's in the White House now, but no different than ISIS. And yet they can start fires and throw things and say, F your dead homie. And that's you're dead, homie. You're dead, homie. You're dead, homie. You're dead, homie. F your dead homie. Drown fascism in a sea of resistance with the hammer and sickle on the sign. So they're communists. They're anarchists, and they can do whatever the hell they want. Well, I thought this was going to change when Trump designated them terrorists, when he said he might use the National Guard, when we said there'd be law and order. That doesn't look like law and order to me. All right, before we go, we got to get to this woman. You thought Molly Kimmel was bad? You thought these losers were bad? There's this talk show host named Stephanie Miller. She's a liberal radio host somewhere. I've never heard her. But she made an appearance with Jasmine Crockett. Yes, crazy Jasmine, who thinks she's going to run for Senate in Texas, who is essentially the leader of the Democrat Party, the face. She and Mamdani, that's the ticket right now. Mamdani and Crockett. She has an appearance, and Stephanie Miller, the talk show host, loves her. She gets down on the ground and kisses Jasmine Crockett's feet. That is the perfect crystallization right there, the perfect picture of the state of the Democrat Party, led by offals, affluent white female liberals, the people who voted for a Muslim Marxist in New York City, the people who can't, sleep or are on meds because the president makes them feel icky. This is a talk show host, assumingly not a complete, total moron, kissing the feet of a absolute reprehensible member of Congress, a woman that, calls Trump a Nazi and everyone who supports him is a racist and all that. Is that video or just a photograph of her kissing her feet?
Can you confirm that I just kissed your sneakers? This is true. She's on camera saying she'll do the radio. I am. We're doing it. Future senator of the great state of Texas. I miss Ted Cruz so much. He's so likable. Oh my God.
Can you confirm I kissed your feet? Yes, we can confirm that. It's right there. We took a picture.
She is never going to be a Texas senator.
I mean, obviously not. She couldn't win. She might lose her seat when they redistrict, hopefully, although I'm not sure. Having her around, like Mamdani, having them around is a good thing in the midterms. Having them around is a good reminder of just how far gone the Democrat Party is and just how out of their minds their supporters are. Literally kissing her feet, kissing the feet of I like Ted Cruz. I like Brandon Gill, another Texas congressman. I mean, I can't imagine ever thinking that would be a good visual, a good optic. Kissing their feet. That is perfect. That right there. Save that one. We need that picture. That picture's going to live forever. You fool, Stephanie Miller. You absolute embarrassment. But hey, she's not alone. People like her is why we have Jasmine Crockett and AOC and Ayanna Pressley and Zoran Mamdani. They're the ones who believe all the bullshit from the far left right now. But all right, I don't have time for the 60-minute story. We'll save that one, Arda. We'll leave it there on this Veterans Day. We will honor our veterans, and we will sadly apologize to our veterans for letting it get to this. And you know what we'll do? We'll try to do better. We will try to make you proud. You deserve it. Trump is at Arlington National right now laying a wreath. I love that. I love the place. I mean, it is, when I go to D.C., the one place I want to go is Arlington National. It just makes the hairs on your neck stand up. It's an amazing place. If you haven't been, you must go and just wander around and look at all those white crosses and stars of David and appreciate what they have done for us. But happy Veterans Day to all of them, and thank you. That will do it for today. Thanks to everyone for watching and listening. I'm Gerry Callahan. This is The Callahan Show, and we will do it again tomorrow.
I mean, I have no worry. I don't know how they take away my citizenship and like deport me, but I don't even know like why that's such a scary threat. Like, I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown. My kids are grown. Like, I can go live wherever I want.